So I don't know. I guess right now is the time that Steeler fans are supposed to be hating on Ravens, and Ravens fans are supposed to be hating on Steelers. But I mean, there's not too many Ravens fans I really have hate for. I hate the Ravens, definitely. I hate the Baltimore Ravens, without a doubt. I can't stand them. They're the team I hate the most. They're the division rivals, but the thing about that game, it's one of the most entertaining games in the entire NFL. That's why it's pretty much normally always in a primetime spot. It's not in a primetime spot right now. I guess it's kind of a primetime spot right now because it's like that CBS 4:30. It's like the national game pretty much on a Saturday. So it's probably going to be in a lot of games, a lot of households, even outside of Pittsburgh and the regional areas. A lot of people are going to be getting that game. And I think that's what, the second or third game to kick off week 18 of the NFL. And the Steelers are going to have to get help after that. There's a lot of different scenarios. The Titans can beat the Jags. Miami could beat Buffalo. There's some other crazy scenario. If it's Houston and the Colts tie, I guess the Steelers get in. Some other crazy scenario that I don't see happening. I guess it's possible, but I don't see happening. But what matters is the most is we got to win this game. And the Steelers are a 4-point favorite right now. And you got to ask yourself, why are the Steelers a 4-point favorite in Baltimore? When Baltimore has the best record in the entire league right now, 13-3, better than the 49ers, better than the Cowboys, better than Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the Kansas City Chiefs, better than Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, better than Miami in this high-powered offense that, the mainstream media says this is what the league is all about, offense, offense, offense nowadays, and quarterback, quarterback, quarterback. I mean, the Ravens have a quarterback that just does it a little bit different. Does it different than probably any other quarterback we've ever seen, maybe outside of Vic. And Vic, I'm telling you, was not as accurate as Lamar and not as a good passer as Lamar. Lamar is efficient as hell when he throws the ball. And Harbaugh has his team in the position right now to rest his starters week 18. Already has the AFC North, which is the best division in all of football, locked up, signed, sealed, and delivered. 13-3 should never have lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers never should have beat the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe you can question some of the decisions he made in that game, definitely, like throwing it to let Joey Porter pick the ball off, and a couple other times where I think he didn't take three when he should have just took three, and they would have been out there easy, gleasy, lemon peasy. But he made some bad decisions in that game. But throughout the course of the season, a coach is going to maybe fuck up here and there. A quarterback's going to fuck up here and there. Shit's going to happen. You're not going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect, and you're never going to have a perfect season. And not everything's always going to go according to plan. And they're sitting right now at 13-3, and they don't even have to play in this game with the best record in the entire NFL right now. So I don't think there's really in the best division in all of football. I don't really think there's any question, dude. Like, I don't know if he's ever won Coach of the Year before, and it's an irregular season award. They're the best regular season team. They weren't even predicted to win the division. Yeah, Joe Burrow went down, but Cincinnati got off to a slow start anyway. And the Ravens have just been dominant and they completely just dominated Miami last week, like embarrassed them completely. And this is coming from one of the biggest Mike Tomlin advocates on YouTube. And I'm not the biggest Ravens hater, I'll say, but I hate the Ravens. I'm a diehard Steelers fan. So, of course, I hate the motherfucking Baltimore Ravens. That's just like Israel and Palestine, bro. You're either a Steeler or you're a Raven. You ain't no half-stepping. And if you're half-stepping between the Steelers and the Ravens, say I root for the Ravens this year and the Steelers next year, your fan card should be pulled immediately. Immediately. All right. Immediately. All right. That's like a girl that just got a ghost trying to play 5 different sides of the fences at once. They'd say they got to go immediately. All right. You got to pull that card straight up. And in Harbaugh, literally, over the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, Super Bowl contenders, the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow, all these teams. You got to give Harbaugh credit. And this dude does it consistently, year in, year out, year in, year out, year in, year out. To where I've been claiming Tomlin has a Hall of Fame resume, and he is a great, and he does have a Hall of Fame resume. But Harbaugh locked this division up this year. And if he goes on and wins another Super Bowl, that'll be 2 Super Bowls for Harbaugh as well. Harbaugh's a winning coach. Tomlin and Harbaugh's resume is very similar. I think Tomlin has a little bit of edge in the regular season over Harbaugh, but the playoffs, Harbaugh is better and has been better than Tomlin. So this is one coach. There's not many coaches. Like, I'll argue it all day long. There's not many coaches better in the league than Mike Tomlin. And I would dare to say Harbaugh is better than Mike Tomlin. McVay gets all this hype. Shanahan gets all this hype. Shanahan's never won a Super Bowl. McVay's won a Super Bowl. Shanahan's never won a Super Bowl. I don't know. He does good. The Niners are right behind the Ravens, is the second best team in the league, second best record in the league, right there with the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are 12-4. The Niners like 12-4, something like that. But I do know the Ravens have the best record in the league. And Kyle Shanahan's never won a Super Bowl. So I can't put Kyle Shanahan above Mike Tomlin. I can't put Kyle Shanahan above Harbaugh. And I can't even put McVay, who gets all this hype, above Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. Because look where McVay's at right now. He's not doing good with the Rams this year and last year, coming off that Super Bowl victory that team basically went out and mortgaged and bought. They went out there and bought Stafford, Odell Beckham, made all these trades for Jalen Ramsey. Really, their whole team was just a bunch of different free agents pretty much put together, globbed together, and they bought him that Super Bowl pretty much. So was it on coaching? Was it on development? What is it on him going out there and drafting players and developing players? Not really. The Baltimore Ravens and the Steelers do things different. They draft. They play old school defensive, run the ball football that everybody says is dead and doesn't exist right now. But this is the best conference in the league, the best division in the league, AFC North, with three smash mouth football teams. And the Ravens and the Browns are being talked about as possible Super Bowl contenders. And if the Steelers keep getting quarterback play from Mason Rudolph, they should be talking about Super Bowl contenders. So, of course, Baltimore is the best team in the league. And this dude has been doing it consistently for I don't know how long. And I don't know if he's ever won a Coach of the Year award. But if he has won a Coach of the Year award, like, I'm going to look it up right now. If he hasn't, let's see. I'm going to look it up. Has John Harbaugh ever won Coach of the Year? 1 second. He won it in 2019. So he's won it before. I was going to say that's a travesty if he's never won it before in his career. He has, and this is one dude. This is one dude. I'm going to go back onto the coaching. I was into the McVay thing. Like, I can't say he's better. Pete Carroll is one coach. Maybe I could say he's better than Mike Tomlin, but Tomlin has a better probably playoff record. Has better regular seasons. Pete Carroll has coached longer than Tomlin, and Tomlin has more wins. So as an NFL coach, as an NFL resume, if you're just looking at the NFL resume, Tomlin's a better coach than Pete Carroll. Harbaugh is a better coach than Pete Carroll. You got like two of the best coaches in the entire league in the AFC North, period, point blank. And I guess should be giving hate on the Ravens, and I do. And I can talk about all their past players and blah, blah, blah. But let's just talk about this year and how, I just got to give credit where credit's due. He deserves Coach of the Year. And it'll be sad if he don't get Coach of the Year, honestly. I really think it would be sad because the Cowboys were predicted to win their division. Well, maybe not. They're not even going to win their division. And the Eagles, they're good, but they're not top-tier teams. They're not as good as the Ravens. They're just not. And I think they're the best team in the league. So I think that's how it should go. stories like Stefanski. Like, it's a great story if Tomlin can get him into the playoffs, but we had to script and scrap, and I think we can get in the playoffs. I mean, if Houston gets him, they're talking about D'Amico Ryans because of the story. He did turn around Houston. So that does, I mean, that does, you deserve to get a lot of credit because you took a down and out franchise and you completely turned them into a whole new thing. I mean, the Lions head coach, I mean, Detroit, it's a great story that you get Detroit in the playoffs and you have Detroit, who's pretty much perennial dog shit, playing as good. That's why I think Stefanski won coach of the year. Tomlin's never won coach of the year. And I was talking about it before the Cardinals game, before the Patriots game. If Tomlin could actually win these games that he's supposed to win, and don't Tomlin those two games, like he always somehow finds a way to Tomlin those games, and we win those games, and then happen to go on to beat the Colts, which I knew was going to be a tough game. I didn't have that circled as a gimme game. I probably would have predicted us to win. I predicted us to win that game after losing 2 in a row. But that was never a gimme on the schedule. I mean, it's a win, but it's not a gimme. Those 2-10 teams right there should be gimmies, should be cupcakes, and we shouldn't have lost those games, period. Period. And if he could have put us in that position, we'd be fighting right now for the division. John Harbaugh would have no choice but to have Lamar Jackson out there right now, Patrick Queen. So right now they're sitting sweaty pretty, and they get this week off and the playoffs off, and they get a bye, and they can just sit around and spy. They can basically just sit around and spy for the next 2-3 weeks and then actually play a game. Brad was like, well, you don't want to get rusty, bro. You're the best team in the league, and you're taking punishment all year long in NFL season. Where I've talked about, where I straight up said we should injure players because that's what this type of rivalry is about, and this type of matchups about, and this is what AFC North football is all about. It's smash mouth, hard nosed football, and people are going to be getting hit. And yes, players try to injure other players. They will never come out and say it. They will never come out and say it. But yes, they're looking to inflict punishment. There's times where they're like, if you can end his career, like straight up, bro. Straight up, bro. The Saints were straight up paying players, dude. Paying players. So you think that's the only team that does it? They're just the team that got caught. They're the team that got caught. That's the only difference. The Patriots were running systematic cheating. That's like the Raiders. The Raiders, their whole motto is just win, baby. Like Madden, he would come out and say, oh, we play dirty. So what? Stop it. Just win, baby. What are you going to do about it? Do whatever they would cheat and do anything they could do to win the game. The Raiders would do back in the day. That's how that old motto came from. Do anything you can do to win, no matter how dirty, no matter how shitty. And that's just what football is all about. Let's just be 190 miles. It's a physical game. So they're sitting pretty. This is why he should win Coach of the Year. This week means nothing for them. This week means everything for so many other teams in the positions of where they're going to land, if they're in the playoffs, if they're not in the playoffs, if they're going to have some home field games in the playoffs, if they're not going to have some home field games in the playoffs. A lot of different things. It means pretty much nothing. The Ravens know that they are the best team in the AFC, no matter what happens. And they know that they're AFC North Division champions. And they know that they have a first-round bye. And the best, like I said to start this shit off, the best division in all of football. So, I don't know. I should have did a video about this. It probably would have got way more views. But I was just going to do this. I don't know why. It just came in my head. And, like, to me, I don't know how they really vote on this shit and how they judge on this. It's like writers. They just write these stories. They write these narratives. D'Amico Ryan and this storybook turnaround of the Houston Texans. And, they're definitely writing the dude in Detroit's probably loved. He's a cult icon in Detroit right now because Detroit's been so terrible right now. And even Cleveland. I mean, Kevin Stefanski. I was talking about Tomlin, if he can turn this around and somehow win a division. And there is still reports coming out saying Tomlin should. I seen one. That's what made me think of this, because I seen a report in a group like 10, 20 minutes before I did this shit that Tomlin should still win Coach of the Year. I'm like, man, come on, bro. I like Tomlin. I'm his fan. I think he doesn't deserve to be fired. I think he gets way too much hate from the media a lot of the times. I think he gets blamed for a lot of shit that might not necessarily be his fault. And there are times he does do some dumb shit where you're like, damn, Tomlin, what are you doing? But I mean, you say that about Harbaugh too. Sometimes you get like specifically this year against the Steelers, but they're still 13-3. So no motherfucker's perfect. But you got two of the top tier coaches, two of the best resumes in the league with Mike Tomlin and Harbaugh. And that's really, and they've been doing it consistently. Like I was talking about McVay earlier. He did it for 4 or 5 years and they basically bought him a Super Bowl. Now he's struggling. So he started off with that great resume and that great win-loss percentage. I even told Brandon this. I was like, let's see where his resume stacks to Tomlin's in 16 years. It's like Zach Taylor was another one for the Cincinnati Bengals. Look where they're at without his franchise quarterback. Madden was out there trying to make a case that Zach Taylor is somehow better than Mike Tomlin because they won a playoff game 1 year, because they were dog shit for 2 years in a row to get great draft picks to pretty much tear their roster completely now down and go out there and just bring in free agents and shit. And yeah, they have some good in-house players too, no doubt about it. But they've had two of the best drafts and picks in the last like 2 years, 3 years before these seasons. And now look where they're at. Without Burrow, they're not even in the playoffs, and Pittsburgh eliminated them. And he has a career losing record. So you can't to even make that case. That's just straight slanderous, bro. That's just what Madden does. That's been his career, and that's what he's doing on Kenny Pickett right now. I know all the fans are mad at Kenny Pickett right now, but I 100. I don't like Kenny, but I will back Kenny on that shit. That's not even about the video, but I don't even think he fucking he did that. Remedy, it's going to be a fun weekend. Steelers win and hopes Colts tie can wrap it up Saturday night. I don't see a tie happening, bro. We could go in a whole other different direction now since this is alive. And I should have probably just did a 10-minute video about that Harbaugh shit. But these lives have been doing all right. Some of these comments have been coming in. They're really good. Yep, or the Dolphins beat the Bills, Titans, or Jags. I kind of wish Lamar was playing. Steelers have his number, not Huntley. That's true. We do have Lamar's number and Harbaugh's number. Shout out to Ron. Ron, I'm going to have to give you in my Discord server, I give out Yinzer of the week. It's kind of like a joke because that gay Kermo group used to always give out Kermitarian of the year or whatever, or the week or whatever. So I kind of made a satire of it just to be a dick, and it's funny. And there are sometimes people do shit, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to give you Yinzer of the week. Like Banana, she was helping out Wendy. I gave her Yinzer of the week. You have been Yinzer not only of the week, you have been Yinzer of the year. You, even when I was losing a little bit of faith, right? I've been keeping faith pretty much the whole season. But after those 2 games, I was like, damn, bro, Tomlin. This is just patenting you, bro. And I've been defending you all year. We had this shit, man. We had it. And we should be playing for a division title right now. And whoever wins this game should win Coach of the Year. That's where we should be at right now. So Tomlin and people saying that Tomlin should win Coach of the Year, no, bro. No. And I'm one of his biggest defenders. Not after that fucking blow up. And the way you handled the quarterback room, man, it's just not been good. And you make mistakes. And maybe you going with Kenny Pickett for the last year and a half might not have been so much on you. It's so much as the organization, general manager standpoint, and the point that we invested a first-round draft pick. So you've got to try to make the most out of that investment and get the best out of that investment. And now he pretty much had no other choice but to make the move because Mason is just played like goddamn Peyton Manning. So who's comeback player of the year? Mason Rudolph. I mean, I don't know how you could write that story any other way, especially if we win a playoff game. TJ Watt, I mean, he got hurt last year, and now he's being talked about as defensive player of the year. He's defensive MVP. Joey Porter got the rookie of the year for the team, and he deserves it because he stepped up in a big role in a big way. A rookie stepping up to be the first string corner in the NFL and locking boys down week in and week out. Joey Porter Jr. was a big fucking stat. I seen a report, an article about him. talking about he's always gonna have to live up to his dad's standard. And it's like he's talking about how many Pro Bowls his dad made, Super Bowl, blah blah blah. Joey Porter never won Team Rookie of the Year, so he's got that one little blip that Joey don't got on his resume. Now he's got to start stacking Pro Bowls. Now he's got to start stacking, hopefully a Super Bowl in the near future for the Steelers. But TJ, I would put that probably would get it. But I mean, you know what you're gonna get out of TJ. You know what I mean? So and that's another thing. TJ was hurt last year. So all these people wanting to fire Tomlin, bro. Like, we definitely would have won at least one or two more games if TJ didn't get hurt, bro. Definitely would have got. And when he came back, we just went on a tear. We just went on a tear to end that season. So, and the Steelers are a favorite in this game. So we got to win this game. There's no excuses to lose this game. So why even talk about this game? They're resting their starters. Mason's playing. We're a 4-point favorite in Baltimore. As much as I hate Baltimore, I guess maybe that's one of the reasons I did this video is I respect Baltimore as an organization and the way they build their franchise from the top down. And that fundamental, their fundamental, I hate to talk politics, but they're just ideology of how to build a franchise. You build internally for the most part, and you play defense, you run the ball, you build the trenches, and that's how you win games, and that's how you win football. Football's won and lost in the trenches, bro. So you can have goddamn Tom Brady as your quarterback, okay? You can have the greatest to ever do it, quote unquote. I might put an asterisk on that. But I'd say, come on. And the majority of the spectrum agrees that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback ever. You can have the Tom Brady as the quarterback, all right? And if you don't have an offensive line in front of you, if you don't have a run game, if you don't have a shit defense, you're not going to win games as a team. You win and die as a team, all right? Not an individual. Period. And in today's league, in today's society, it's hard to get players to buy into that because it's all about me. It's all about it's all about putting up stats. It's all about the money. It's all about flexing for the internet and capping for the internet and acting just like an idiot. And I mean, I don't know, bro. I don't know. And Tomlin keeps this team competitive, and yeah, there's some drama. And I think a lot of it has to do with Pittsburgh media just trying to create stories out of nothing. The Trib writing bogus ass stories, Mark Madden writing bogus ass stories about Kenny Pickett just to improve his ratings and his clout, bro. So you got a lot of that too. The Stephen A. Smiths always talking shit. He said like 3 weeks ago, it's over. This team sucks. They don't have a chance. You might as well tank it. Well, looks like we still have a chance to get in the dance, Stephen A. Because you ain't even a Steelers fan. He's one of those Steelers fans that you need to pull his card and get him the fuck out the fan base already. Because he's ridiculous, man. It's a joke. He's not even a face from New York, bro. He used to be a Giants fan when Skip was on the show. And the Giants have been trashed, so they're nothing to talk about. We suck again. That's all you could say. Steelers are actually relevant, so he has to act like a fan and cap like a fan. Steelers are a 4-point favorite. That means they'll lose by field goal. Viva Vegas. Yeah, we don't want to be favored. Defense wins games. Exactly. And if we just had a mediocre quarterback play to back up that defense, bro, all year long, we should have at least won 2 or 3 more games right now. And like I've been saying it in all my lives, we should be competing for the division championship right now, but we ain't. It's neither here nor there. But we got to win this game Sunday. And with this defense and with this quarterback play and with this run game, we got a chance. We just got to get in there and get some fucking help. We got a chance. And we got a lot to build off all next year. So people saying Tomlin should be fired, the fuck out of here. I even seen some fucking Steeler fans saying that we don't deserve to be in the playoffs. Why don't we deserve to be in the playoffs? We have a better strength of schedule than the Colts, than the Jags, than the Bills, than all these teams that are going to be in the playoffs. We have a better strength of schedule. We're in the best division in football. So if we win 10 games, and if Buffalo decides to fuck that game up and lose to Miami, and if whoever we need to lose decides to fuck up and lose, like the Houston, the Colts, or whoever, they won't get in if we get in, and whoever we surpass, what, the Colts deserve to be in there more than us? They're not that good. Yeah, they beat us, but we had a backup quarterback in there. It was terrible. They just blew the game. Does Cleveland deserve to be in there more than us? They're not that much better than us. We beat them. Does Jags deserve to be in there more than us? I mean, they beat us, but hey, they're not that much better than us. They're in a shitty ass division. We got screwed by the refs in that game. Deontay made some stupid plays. Kenny played like trash that game. So why wouldn't we deserve to be in the playoffs? We get to 10 wins, we get in, we're in. We deserve to be in. Yeah, it was a bad 2 losses to 2-10 teams that you shouldn't lose. But we beat the Ravens, the best fucking team in the entire league. We beat Cleveland, one of the best teams in the entire fucking league. We beat some good ass squads this year. Some shitty ones, but hey, we have the best record in the entire division. The Steelers, the best division in football. And we can improve upon that come Sunday. We beat ourselves with the drops and a bunch of stuff. Don't lose your money. 56-19 Dolphin game was a message. Could be. But that was a game they went out there all out to win. They said if we win this game, then the next week's irrelevant. We don't have to. That's why I think Harbaugh should win Coach of the Year, straight up, because this week's irrelevant for him and them. It don't matter. It don't matter. What matters is staying healthy in the next season that they already have locked up, signed, sealed, and delivered with a bye. But yeah, Run, you deserve. I get it. Sometimes I get off track of my rambles and reading comments, but Run, you deserve the injured year because you kept faith and you've been all in all my chats pretty much for the most part, and you have kept faith for this team all fucking year, bro. You faith all year and manifested positivity for this team, and that's what it's about. You got to manifest positivity. You got to believe, and that's what Mike Tomlin and that's what Harbaugh does is make their team believe that they can do something bigger than them and buy in to really what the team's doing. Is there some frustration here and there down the line, especially when things are not going good and the media is asking you questions and up your dick 24/7 and spinning story? You take a shit and they're gonna write some crazy story, and then you got to answer questions about that. Some nonsense. It's nonsense. So yes, you're gonna have frustration throughout the year, but year in and year out, we are competitive. Year in and year out, the Baltimore Ravens are competitive and one of the best teams in the league, and that is saying a lot. People say that means nothing, but that means something. Like I seen a video of this dude talking about Steelers and Packer fans don't know how good they get it. They're both 8-8, and this game, no matter what, still means something. If they get in, they don't get in. This game still means something, and they have a lot to build off next year. And that's how I see this team as a team that can possibly get in, maybe not get in, and have a hell of a lot to build off of next year. With obvious question marks and a lot of questions. But if we can figure out those questions, this team could be really dangerous. And there's a lot less few questions coming into this season than there were last season. The biggest question I said coming into this season is what it's going to come down to is Kenny Pickett. And I was saying, can we get 3,500 yards out of Kenny Pickett? 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Couldn't get that. We got 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and like 2,000 yards. Yeah, he missed some time, but still, he wasn't getting there if he played every fucking game this year. He might have just cracked 10 touchdowns, and that's bad. That's not good. That's very, very unproductive and very stagnant, and the offense was horrible. And now we got Mason airing this shit out. We got George Pickens, a guy that only has 56 catches. 56 catches and over 1,000 yards. I seen a post. Somebody said that's not being talked about enough, and it's not, bro. 1,000 yards on 56 catches, bro. That is like literally he's averaging damn near 20 a clip, bro. That's like Randy Moss-esque, bro. Literally. I gotta check out his yards per average. I mean, there I see it's still made a big thing saying he's a bum, he's a lazy bum. This dude has 56 catches for 1,000 yards. Like, he's our best player on him or Jalen Warren are our best players on offense, bro. Deontay Johnson's expendable at this point. We shouldn't be throwing his way, dude. We should just be throwing it to Pickens every time, man. The fuck out of here. That dude's a beast. A beast. A beast. A freak of nature in his hands. His hands. He just need to get his head right. But his hands are crazy. And I can understand the frustration, man. I can understand the frustration. When he makes one little like on an Instagram and it just spins into some whole big web of narratives of he's unhappy and he doesn't want to be on the team. And come on, man. Maybe he is unhappy, but does that mean he want to be on the team? Does that mean he's going to hold out? Does that mean he wants to go to a whole other franchise? Does that mean he hates everybody on the team? Like, come on, man. It gets ridiculous sometimes with these stories the Pittsburgh media runs with, bro. It really does. It's hard to sweep any AFC North regardless because we play defense. And even the Bengals, their defense is not good this year. But it's been last year it was decent. They lost some talent on defense, honestly. So I don't think they're as good as this year. And obviously the injury to Burrow. So since he could be down in a hole for years because Joe Burrow's been getting hurt. And he's injury prone right now. And he's a banged up quarterback. And they just paid him big ass money. And who knows if he'll ever be the same. I mean, he's getting some bad injuries like to the legs and shit. And as a quarterback, bro, like after chemo injured Palmer, that year we went on to win the Super Bowl when he busted his knee out. Palmer was putting up crazy numbers. Was like the best quarterback in the league. And then after that, Palmer, he did have like a little resurgence with the Cardinals, but he was never this. He was never the same. Never the same. Never. So who knows? Since he might be down and out for a few years. And the window's looking like it's starting to open for Pittsburgh. And if we can figure out this quarterback, that's still the biggest question. Like I said, there was the biggest question coming into this season. Now that's huge questions. Are we going to still continue with Kenny? Are we not going to continue with Kenny? What are we going to do? No, this is where we get the brooms out and sweep your asses like we did the Bengals. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Tomlin might lose them games that we're not supposed to lose. But then he'll win the games that we aren't supposed to win because we weren't supposed to win that Ravens game, the first game. We weren't supposed to win that fucking game. Shit, we shouldn't have won that first Browns game, bro. I mean, that defense went crazy, insane. I mean, they went off, bro. Like TJ, it was like the second or third play of the game. Might have been the first play of the game. Highsmith, pick six, boy. I was going nuts when that happened. I don't forget what play it was. It might have been a little bit further in the game than that. But that was like the biggest turn tider. And then Highsmith did the scoop sack. TJ, after the Highsmith sack, he scoop sacked the fumble and took it back. So they say defense can't win, bro. Come on, bro. Those are two games right there, the Ravens game. Yeah, Kenny had that last-minute heroic throw to Pickens, but if JPJ doesn't come down with that interception, bro, Harbaugh never should have threw in that situation. He had the lead, bro. It was retarded. Like, it was retarded to throw the ball in that situation. Dumb as dirt to throw the ball in that situation. And that's before Tomlin was starting him, too. And I gave Tomlin credit. I made a video, gave Tomlin credit. I was like, he deserves credit because he's putting Joey Porter in great positions to succeed, to utilize his skill set and slowly phase him in, which I think he kind of phased him in pretty well, honestly, JPJ. And Peterson pretty much just came out and was like, yeah, I'm willing to step aside and let JPJ have the reins because he's earned it. So I think that was very professional of Peterson. I think it was very professional of Tomlin because, yeah, Peterson started off having some bad games, but even vets are going to have some bad games every once in a while. And Peterson is just, he's a guy that's been there, done that. So you got to just go off his pedigree, man. And Peterson has been making plays of late. So, and maybe that getting him in more safety because he's a little bit older. He might not be as quick. He can't stay like in man-to-man coverage as well, and single coverage, like single coverage, man on man, island situations. But if you put him in just like zone over the top coverages or little coverages, little help coverages, he's a crafty vet, so might be able to he can know and read and decipher defenses at that safety position and get a beat and make plays, splash plays. I think at least next year should be a match. I did say that. I say why if we don't make the why if he makes the playoffs and wins a playoff game, dude, he's getting extended. If we make the playoffs, he's getting extended. And they're already talking about extending him. We make the play. So this is such a make or break. It's like I was even talking about in that Arizona Cardinals game. This is if you win this Arizona Cardinals game, Tomlin, you debunk that narrative. You have this team well ahead of schedule. We've basically have signed, sealed, and delivered a playoff spot, and we'll be in a position to be competing for the division right now. But you went and you Tomlin those 2 games in a row, and you just enhanced the Mark Madden narrative and that narrative that they've been spewing and spitting for years now. That you lose these type of games. We can't get it done in the playoffs. So maybe it's time for a new face, and a lot of fans feel that way. I mean, there's a lot of fans that feel that way, and media members, and it's strong. And there's a big majority of the. I'm not gonna say it's a majority. I would say it's like 50-50 on Tomlin. I did a poll that got like 300 votes. That's like 50-50. And normally when I do the Tomlin votes, it's 50-50. And just like even when I do posts, there's like a lot of negative comments. Like when my Facebook page is doing, there's a lot of negative Tomlin comments. But then the reactions, there's a lot of love and So, because he's done a lot of good. But at the end of the day, this is the Steelers, and it is what it is. The standard is the standard. We expect championships. We expect success in the playoffs. Maybe we are spoiled as a fan base. I won't even say maybe we're spoiled. We are spoiled as a fan base because this is 20. I said it was 19. This is 20 years, 2 decades, bro. 2 decades of non-losing football. And that's amazing. It really is. Could it have been better? Did we lose some playoff games that we shouldn't have lost, which adds to that narrative, like the Broncos game to Tebow, like the Jacksonville game, like the game to Cleveland? I think we all agree that Thomas Spear not putting Mason Rudolph in sooner than he did. I think we can definitely all agree on that. But one thing I'll say is maybe Ravens by 13 or 10. I don't know if you. We'll see, man. If you win by 13 or 10, if you dominate us like that, not starting your starters, then shit. Harbaugh definitely wins Coach of the Year. We try to get up such a body somewhere. Lamar ain't playing. He straight up said he ain't playing. Well, his ass is sitting Saturday. I think at least next year. All right, now I'm pretty much caught up with them. Once I get in rant mode, I can't really use comments. And I seen using one of my. Sometimes I've been doing live premieres too. Seen using my comments in a live premiere, making comments. It's just a live premiere. It's like a video that live. You like if you upload your video and it's unlisted, and then you list it, and then it like goes as a premiere. I didn't even know you could do that. I just figured that out the other day. It's kind of cool, a little feature you can do. But I like hearing what the other fans say because it helps give me content. And there is really, you could take this franchise and you could take things in totally different directions. Like there was even when we wanted to get Pickett, there was a big sect of the fan base that wanted Pickett. And maybe me and Ernie were kind of more in a minority that were like, I think we need offensive linemen. I think we could bridge the gap. We won 8 games with Mason anyway. Why don't we just let that go out and just see what we got and then make this team a little bit more competitive and then draft a guy in there with the, a little bit more talent, a little bit of everything sealed up. That offensive coordinator was a question for the longest time, even before Matt Canada. So they still have things to figure out, and they still needed things to figure out before they drafted a quarterback. And I think you said we all agree we should have started Mason Suter. We can definitely all agree that Mason didn't get the opportunity in the rope that Kenny Pickett got. He did definitely not get the rope that Kenny Pickett got. And Mason wasn't even a first-round pick. And Mason didn't even have all the talent around him that Kenny has. Like we had way more problems then than we do now. So I think this team's trending in the right direction. Because for years, I remember Steelers fans coming on here bitching and crying and moaning how we can't run the ball, we're terrible, blah blah blah, and we just cannot run them. We have been able to run the ball, and now this season we're close to having 2,000-yard rushers on this team, 2, with a quarterback who's been historically bad, and we still have a chance to get in the playoffs. So that's why I don't know. Real shit was saying. I mean, I kind of. Like he's saying, get Mason, bring Kenny back, and just let them duke it out. Bring Mason back on the cheap, bring Kenny back on the cheap, just let them duke it out. But I don't know. Maybe that's the Steeler in me that feels with this defense, this run game, George Pickens. Fuck.